have your corresponding angles. You know that has to be true. You also know that you have 3 side lengths for each triangle. Which triangle is written on the left-hand side? ABC. So when I write out my letters, then that means you have side AB, side BC, and then side CA going around the triangle. You okay with that? What letters correspond to it with the other one? Hey, Mr. Fontana.
Yes, sir.
Did everything work out okay?
Things are great. Nothing in the world to worry about. Kids, the economy is booming. There's going to be plenty of jobs here when you guys are ready to go. College is affordable and no issues at all. What stable leaders in our government here and all across the world, not a thing in the world to be anxious or nervous about. What is this?
The 3D printed.
Oh, shut up! Although it doesn't take a whole lot of skill, you just kind of go.
But they're all put together. You gotta undo that one, put that one back.
Oh.
So you're not,
Now that I said that, it's stuck.
you're not gonna read for a second?
No, we're good.
I was in the third.
Sweet. Mr. Murphy, for he's a jolly good fellow. It's a song. Go back.
What's that? Oh, yeah. Just that good. Shut up. So, then why on the quiz we had a problem that looked eerily similar to that? We were given what changes? What changes? The letters. The letters change. Did the order in which you write letters down change? Do the sequence of the segments change? No. You know that the angles match up. You know that CD matches D, it goes to DG, then it goes back around to GC. In order. You know that the other ones match out. ED, DF, FE. You know that those are the ratios. So if you have triangles, so if you have 2 triangles with values, and you know that you have a similarity statement, why not just write out the similarity statement and fill in the blanks? I've got, excuse me, CD is 48, 48, and then I have ED, 5x minus 2. I have DG, and I have DF. What changes? Do you see anywhere in here that we ever have done 2 separate equations to solve for x at 2 different times, get 2 different values for x? Nope. All this was literally write down the values, write this out, fill in the blanks. Because if you write out the letters, you're going to really hard pressed to screw up. Most of you guys that got that wrong, well, I would say the last 2 questions of the quiz were the ones that basically everybody got wrong. You didn't write out the letters. Write out the letters. It forces you into the problem correctly. Okay. So when you cross multiply this out, I still have a whole handful of people finishing that through. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about a couple of things that I saw. Good morning.
Morning, Redmond.
Mr. Dillon? Nope, that's 40, 48. And that's just a matter of distributing and going. Right? That's what that would look like. The problem itself wasn't any different from what we've done in class at all. Let's see here. We get 200x minus 80 is 96x plus whatever 7 times 48 is. $336. And now you're back to a problem that has variables on both sides of the equation. Subtract the 96, add the 80. So we have 104. And what was that? 416, I believe. Divide that by 104. That's what it works out to be. No two answers. No crazy decimals that a lot of you guys have gotten. It's taking the actual statement itself, writing it out, and then solving for x. And that was one major problem that I saw throughout there. Also, when you guys are doing like angle, side, angle, side, your letters have to match. Remember I even left it up on the board? Hey, put them in order from shortest to longest, or follow your tick marks through. Your letters have to match in order for it to be a valid statement. Okay, so you just got to be very cautious with that. It's a matter of marking the diagrams and just filling it through. What I have for us today, though, is that I want to spend more time on this algebra stuff. I want to do a couple more examples of how you get from the diagram to the set. So, I made a sheet, so you didn't have to write them all out. I'll put over and over again. Let's take a look at some of this. Now, obviously, some of these things are, as you go through this, some of them are a little bit easier than others. But for the most part, what I'm looking at is I want to practice writing out the statement before I fill in the blanks. Because if you do that more, the better you're going to be in the long run. Right? For example, I have trying, this is what, WVU and GFE. So first thing I do, WV, VU, and UW. GF, FE, and then EG. Quite literally just writing it out. Practice by doing that, and then you go back and see what parts you have. Well, I have a UW and a V, a WV. So I have those two. GF, EG. Right. You're looking at it crooked. You want what squeaky face on? What's up? I'm sorry, will you repeat that? Okay, I see where you're going with that, but we don't know what that value is, and I don't know if it's giving the same value of x. In this case here, we can still solve because it says that it's similar. And what we have is we just have ratios of 2 of the 3 sides. We have 2 of the 3 given to us. Even though we have, whenever we're given the statement, if you will, you're right, we have 3 different fractions. It just so happens that I only have information on these guys. I have no information about this one, so I don't need to use it. Okay? Sometimes you'll have all 3, sometimes you won't. Like the one example I just showed you guys from the quiz. Okay. The one on the quiz, we only had 2 sets. 2 out of the 3. We just wrote down which one we had. I think we had what, DF, and we had these 2. We didn't. What's that? That depends on the problem. Okay, that depends on, I see you're going with that. It depends on the problem, because sometimes, let's say in this one here you had, this was 14, I don't know what it was. We didn't know. But if that was 14, you could solve this one down here by using the ratio. But you'd have to figure out what the ratio is. Okay. And that's the idea. You don't know what those are, so you'd have to know, in order to solve for every single piece, you'd have to know at least the corresponding side to it. You can't just, if you don't know anything about both of them, there's nothing you can do. Okay? Until you know if there was, unless you had the perimeter, if you had to be able to figure out what that other missing side was. But if you don't know the side lengths, you can't do it for that missing side. Is that kind of what you're getting at? So in here, you can do one of 2 things. You just cross multiply right there with the 49, because you just have the calculators, or if you want, you can simplify. If I simplify this, divide those both by 7, where we get 7/3, I believe. It's just easier math on your brain. But if you're using a calculator, it doesn't matter. So if you do it the long way, it's 21 times the quantity, 17x plus is 49, there's 24. You can go the long way, or, like I said, you can just simplify out if you want. Yeah. They actually replaced the one on 42. I guess it does it. Forget about the X values. So if you did the long way just by pressing buttons in the calculator, it still gets you there. If you did the shortcut way, it's just smaller numbers. I just realized that. Thank you. Subtract the 105 and divide that by 357. You get X. We're getting there. Yes, sir. Yeah, there's going to be many ways, because remember, and that's where, if you don't, I mean, if you're just going from sides to sides and just kind of going through it, you have to be just cautious about what matches up to what. Right? You just got to be careful on how things match up. And that's usually where a lot of you guys are making mistakes on the quizzes and stuff, is that when you get to a point, if you're just saying, oh, this is just got to match here and here without looking at the letters, because sometimes the images could be reversed, flipped around, rotated, whatever, so you're not necessarily know which one goes where. Yes, ma'am. I got 3. Did you write down 1179? I wrote down 1179 first. Okay. Should be 1176. Subtract out the 105. Okay. Next one's a little different.